Oh, hey, baby, how you doing? Damn, baby, look at that ass. You need a ride, baby? How about I give you a ride and then you give me a ride, baby? Ooh, Burr. Hello, how you doing? Welcome to Mizz Honey's. Ooh, no, it's not gonna work, honey. No, look at that sun. It's coming through. Welcome to the first edition of Mizz Honey's Ooh, Burr, honey. Yes. I'm gonna be interviewing some Burrs from the Seattle area and hopefully beyond. We'll see. But I'm headed right now, leaving glamorous Tacoma to go pick up Jeffrey Robert and do a little interview. Jeffrey Robert is Seattle's gay uncle. Love the man. You ready?
I'm ready, girl.
All righty. All right.
You got it?
I think we got it.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
Sure.
Whew. Hi.
How are you?
Oh, that's me up there.
That's
Look at
you.
that.
Okay, so this is the first one. So this is all.
So I'll roll up my window.
This is all. I can go ahead and roll
Okay,
it
you
up.
control things.
Yeah. Shoot, I know I'm in a shirt that does not breathe, honey. This shirt does not breathe. That polyester, some of it is glittery.
But the bottom part breathes on all that.
Shoot, honey. Well, that's the beautiful thing about this. I mean, if I wanted to, I could do this with nothing on down below. Just have my titties
there you go.
and stuff, and could be naked down below.
There you go.
You started performing in Morning Glory, and then Magnolia decided she was going to move to LA.
Yep.
And so you went and took over the show and kind of changed it a bit. It was a weekend brunch show.
Yep.
And then you made it Morning Glory.
I think it
West
was
Side Glory.
Morning Glory. I made it West Side Glory. We do it at night. I love having drag queens. I'll always have drag queens, but I don't want to have a drag show and at that time it seemed like there were a lot of drag shows. Now you can't fucking fling a teriyaki joint without running into a drag queen around here.
Seriously.
It's just like they're all over the place. So I said, can I make it a variety show? I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing at all. And I loved doing the show, but it was exhausting. Because if you work with just drag queens, it's like a community, and you know everybody, and you know who's going to be late, and you know who's going to be early, you know who's not going to come with all the stuff, and they're going to have to borrow. But if you work with drag queens and burlesque performers and comedians and musicians and go-go bears, honey, oh my God.
Like, I got to doing drag, and I was like, you know what, there is more drama in the bear community than there is in the drag community.
I say that all the time. Holy shit. Oh my God.
But that's what was so great about your show, is that it was so diverse. You didn't know what you were going to see. I mean, one of my favorite moments I will never forget, there's someone singing opera up on stage, and Coochie Banaka is coming out of the bathroom. And I was just like, where would I see that? I mean, that you just don't see shit like that.
Not on PBS. I mean, I think, well, it's Skylark, so I'm sure that they made sure that we always were doing nothing illegal, but if I didn't know that, I would think maybe they allowed us to break the law once or twice. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that was a fun show.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed that show every time I went.
And it was different people every time except you.
Yeah, I was the only one that was in all of them, and everything else was different. And that's what I loved about it. You just never knew what you were going to see.
Never knew.
So you mentioned you started doing your solo show, which is the Gay Uncle, which I thought was a great concept. And so why don't you tell us about how that came about?
Well, I've been doing comedy for several years, and then I started doing storytelling, and my background was in art, and I knew that when I started doing comedy as part of my midlife crisis, that I wanted to do these other things too. I've always loved to write. I've never stopped writing, but I wanted to combine these things. I had wanted to do a show, just a one-shot deal, on Valley of the Dolls, because I think it's a great gay classic. I think a lot of younger gays don't know shit about the stuff that they should know about. They're too worried about who Taylor Swift is dating to know about the classics, and so I need to change that. And so I thought I would do it, and I would just sort of show all the connections in the universe that can come from one sleazy little piece of trash culture, and it can just spread out and connect all of these different things in kind of a Buddhist way. It's like a Buddhist retelling of Valley of the Dolls. And so, and so I wrote that show, and I did it, and I did a whole bunch. I did like 40 different paintings for it, and I had guests, and it was a long-ass show. It was way too long, but it was so fun, and I was addicted. So every month I did a different theme, and I'd invite different guests to it, and I did different artwork for it, and I'd create a story, a narrative, it was just, the themes were just the starting off point. So I think the second one I did was on Sylvester. I did one on Andy Warhol's Trash, the movie. I did one on Bob Fosse, which was really about Liza, which of course is about Judy. And I did, I don't know, Rob McEwen, Marlena Dietrich. I did all kinds of different celebrities, but they were really about a lot more. I just tried to keep it fun and light and fluffy and not let people know that there was some other richer stuff in there. But then that monthly show got to be exhausting. And I was like, I can't do 60 paintings a month for these shows, and I can't contact 10 people. So I thought, let me try doing a one-shot show, kind of taking the best of, and then like more than half of it was brand new. And then I thought I'll take it to fringe festivals, and so I spent a couple years taking it to fringe festivals, doing a few other things too. And it was wonderful, and I got the best reception, and I got to perform for all kinds of people. I got to perform in Atlanta, Georgia. I never thought I'd be in Atlanta, Georgia.
I need to get to Atlanta.
Oh, you would love it, honey. You would.
Yeah,
love it.
Well, there's this one sexy Burr there that I would love to visit.
More than one.
Oh yeah, I know that. So so part of your goal with this was to have it as like kind of education for the young kids of today.
I grew up on talk shows. I grew up in the glory day of talk shows like Mike Douglas and Merv Griffin and Dick Cavett and David Frost. And I love those shows. And so that's how I got a lot of my education. Because everything I learned, I got from pop and trash culture. Some books, some other things. I read a little Shakespeare. I did my algebra. But it wasn't until you put some big old trashy ass culture on there that I really learned everything about life. And so I wanted to continue that on. I just don't see that happening now. It seems like everything is too available. You don't have to research. You don't get
That's the thing, honey. You don't have to. I was telling this. I'm like, kids today do not have to work for porn. You had to work for porn.
Work for porn.
If you wanted to get porn, when I was a teen, you had to work for it. Now it's just like,
and you had to hide it.
Yes.
You don't have to hide your tablet under your bed. You don't have to do that.
No.
You just turn it off.
Yeah.
We had to hide it. And then every time we pulled it out, we had to unstick the pages.
Yes.
It was like, these kids don't know what they got going on.
No. Like, coming out today is nothing like it was when we came out. And it's nothing like when you came out. I mean, I didn't come out till the 90s, you know? And that was when I was out of college. So, when did you come out?
Officially 1977, which is when I graduated from high school, and I was out. But I came out to my best friend who was also gay, when I was a teenager, maybe around 14. I remember us sitting outside on one or the other porch, and we were just talking, and we sort of just kept upping the conversation until we admitted that we were. And so that was our little secret. We never acted upon it. But by the time I was 18, by the time we were in high school, we could not wait to get out and just be as gay as possible. And you had to really do some research to find out what the gay world was. We went to the library, and you had to sort of find a book that would mention some other reference, where you'd look at that reference, and it was just like this constant discovery thing. I gotta say, it was hard. It was so much better than I think it is now, because you appreciated it so much more, and it made you feel like you were part of this tight community that you had to want to be in.
Yeah.
You couldn't just like, well, I'm gay and I hate it and it's horrible. No, you had to seek it out and find out about your history and your culture and get to know other people, all kinds of people. There was no room to subdivide into 50 million categories.
That's kind of like, so a friend of mine lived in St. George, Utah. And he said the thing about being in the gay community there is you couldn't not get along.
That's right.
If you wanted a community that would support you and whatnot, you just had to like take the good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's right.
So it's definitely, you know, a world of difference.
It's a world of difference. And I grew up in wasn't a small town by any means. It was the capital, Sacramento, but it had kind of the small town feel for gay bars in that most of the bars, everybody went to the bars. Lesbians, gay men, drag queens, the handful of people who were openly transgender at the time, a handful of straight people, not as many straight people at that time, but a handful, bisexual people, everybody just was in the same place. There would be bars specific to like leather bars. There were some bars where drag queen performers performed, and some that were dance places. But even at all of those places, you'd see anybody there. Later on in bigger cities, like going to San Francisco and LA and places like that, there were bars that were specific for one type of crowd, one type of population. And you'd go knowing that. But there were other places you could go. It wasn't that you were excluded from everything. It's just people went to where like meant like, I guess.
Because I remember I was happened to be on the hill, and I was walking from Diesel, because you know I love my Diesel.
I know you do.
And we're walking by Madison Pub, and I thought there were some peeps I knew, and so we started talking, and someone's like, "Hey, why don't we go to our place?" And this one's like, "Oh, I'm too old to go there," and bitch was like 30. I'm like, are you kidding me, bitch? You are not too old. Go wherever the fuck you want to go.
Old. Oh my God. Oh, these children. God, it hurts me. They could still make it up the stairs at our place at 30. I can't make it up those damn stairs. They have to take me in the fucking freight elevator when I go there.
How did we end up on Aurora Avenue?
It's just sort of like a magnet.
It's
just
like
sort
a
of
magnet.
I'm sitting here just thinking, oh, we should go down south. And all of a sudden the driver's seat is just like into the vacuum.
Sure.
Recognize some of these places?
Sure.
Oh, there's a dockside cannabis over here too.
Sure.
I didn't know they were up here now. I guess the girls got to get some of their smoke too.
They got to get some smoke on, honey.
There's a travel lodge. Did you need to stop in there?
Make some money, honey. Aurora Rents, honey. Aurora Rents. Of course it's Aurora Rents. Shoot, you can rent whatever.
Everything. Yes,
shoot,
we do. I remember we did a photo shoot for you.
Oh, it was a video.
It was a video down here.
Oh, and it was like one of those. Was it rain? I don't know if it was rain. I just remember it was fucking cold.
It was cold as shit. It was cold as fucking ice, and you were not wearing anything.
No.
You had like a little Band-Aid over your coochie, man, and that was it. And then the hotel or motel or whatever it was like one nail away from just collapsing all over the street. It was just so bad. And I remember people were driving by.
Yes. Oh, that one cab pulled up. That one cab pulled up while we were shooting. I'm like, okay, we got to go get this shot. Like I'm talking to the cab.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was so much fun. That was great. Yeah, good old Aurora. That was your, what was that video? That was
my Connie.
Yeah, because Rodney was in that one too, I think.
He was. That's right. Rodney was in that one. He was one of my tricks.
Yeah, he was one of your tricks. He's been in a couple of your videos.
He has. Well, Throw My Legs to Jesus got taken down. I got to work on getting that shit back up.
Too religious?
I don't know. I was like, hold on.
Separation of church and state? Is that what's happening?
Well, it's like, I was like, bitch, are you kidding me? Because it's like, so, you know, I've got bears making out. Well, Kylie Minogue has a video where everyone's making out. Gay, lesbian, all this stuff. Yeah. And then, you know, yes, I'm talking about sex and, you know, when you're going to fuck this whore. Well, it's like, there's this one video, it's called Fuck Me in the Ass or something. It's about these, it's called what's it called? The Loophole. Okay. So it's for girls that want to remain virgin, so they have anal sex. Yeah. And so it's this whole video, and it's very graphic. And it's like, so how is my video any different than this bullshit? So,
I can't answer that, but I just found out that I'm a virgin.
Sure. Yes. Oh, Lord, honey. Aren't we all?
I guess so. Jesus.
Oh, honey, they got some Krispy Kreme right there.
Oh, God. Oh, I love it. You like Krispy Kreme?
I like Krispy Kreme. I only get the plain glazed when it's the hot light on. That's what I want.
With the really thick white stuff inside? Oh, you get the plain goo. You don't want any of the goo inside.
I mean, I can eat the other stuff, but my favorite by far is the fresh. That's the only place I will get a plain glaze.
Okay,
Anywhere else you go, I'm like, get that fucking out of my face.
Well, they're good because you can shove like 20 in your mouth at once because they're so soft and pillowy.
Yeah, back when I could eat whatever I wanted, I could eat a whole dozen of those and not gain a pound.
Oh,
I miss those days.
Oh, I do too. That was called being young. That's another thing. These young people have all their problems about they can't do this and that. Listen to me complain about young people. I actually love young people.
I do too.
But they get on my fucking nerves. But and young people will get on their nerves when they get to be older too.
Yeah. That's what's supposed. That's the way things are supposed to be. The young people are supposed to be like not understanding the old people, and the old people are supposed to be like, oh, these young kids don't know anything. So life is okay.
It's okay. We're all good.
The order is there.
We're all good. We're all good. They just get a little pissy when you point things out to them sometimes. It's like, your job is to sit there and let us complain about you, not to get pissy back and tell me how wrong I am. I'm going to be dead soon. You're taking over the world. You need to chill the fuck out.
Yes.
Because you can't have that kind of attitude once you're in charge of the world. So
yeah, no.
Calm down now. Let me have my say.
So speaking of, let's go ahead and help the children's of today.
Okay.
So who, if you were to pick one person back from the 60s, 70s time period, who is one person that you think that you got to know about this person? Get on your internets, on your web, and search up about this person. Who should the gay youth of today?
Oh, it's so hard to pick just one, but I don't think you could go wrong by learning about Sylvester, because Sylvester connects to so many different subcultures of the gay world and came out right at the time when the gay community was really coming into its own. And he was brilliant, and he made magnificent art and music, and was part of our, he was woven into our culture so deeply. We all felt like he was part of us at that time. But he didn't just come out of nowhere. He came from a community of whether they're transgender. You get in trouble now if you call somebody a drag queen, or if you say they were transgender, or if you whatever from the past. But we didn't have all those terms that people put on themselves then, and now they do. And I think it's great that people do now. I don't know that it's really fair to put them on people who are no longer around, that they don't get to pick their own.
Yeah.
But I do know that he was involved with a lot of people who went on to identify as being transgender, and some people went on to identify as being gay, and some went on to identify as being drag, and they had kind of like this little shoplifting gang where they'd go out and shoplift wigs and stuff so they could do drag in the street, and that's a beautiful thing right there. So and then had a solo career, and then got into the disco career, and then ended up being a person with AIDS who died far too early, and his music continues to be around, and other people have covered his music, and his life, I just think, is a shining example of what somebody can be and be gay. But there are other people too, but I usually come around to him, I think.
Alrighty.
He was a profound role model for me. And you're never going to be anybody else as good as they already are.
Yeah.
So quit trying.
Yeah.
Please, children, learn to love one another. Love one another. And if you can't love one another with your heart, love one another with your genitals.
Yes.
That's how we used to do it.
Yes.
That's how we used to do it. That's how we did it. Some of those people you didn't want to talk to, but you did not mind laying down with them naked. And it was, what a beautiful world. Spread some love.
Spread some love. Shoot some love.
Shoot some love.
Shoot.
Spray that love on my face.
Yeah, shoot, honey. I have no clue where we are.
We are up here.
Yes.
Is
this like shoreline?
Well, I was going to say, outside of the central Seattle area, I know most of the satellite areas
Uh-huh.
by the adult bookstores that one would find. I could map out where those used to be. I'm not sure if they're even still there.
There are
but
some, but not near enough.
there used to be one if you go down another mile or so and turn left, I think. Or maybe it's right around. I can't remember.
There's still, we got a couple down in Tacoma. There's Elmo's.
Elmo.
We got 2 of those.
Shit, I didn't bring a pen. You'll have to email me later with the Elmo.
And you talk to Ron. It's not far from his house. One of them.
Ron.
Yeah.
Ron would never go into a place like
No,
that.
never.
No. He's usually in church right after work.
Yes, with his Middle Eastern friends. I'm like, damn, honey. Every time I see you, I went over to his house.
Do you know what that's all about? If you are a chub in the gay world or a super chub in the gay world, you can get on one of those apps for fat people, and people will find you and they will hit you up, and 80% of them will be Middle Eastern. I can promise you.
They are, and they're muscular.
They're muscular, and they're hung
these,
like fucking donkeys.
Yes.
They're like, they'll split you right down the middle.
And I told that to my husband. I was like, every time I see Ron, it seems like he's with a different guy, and it's this muscular Middle Eastern guy that's like just hot as all, you know. I mean, in my opinion, it's not my type, but like.
Oh, it's my type.
Oh. For me, see, I'm not into the muscles. I want just a regular, average-looking, amateur-looking guy.
You like an averager guy.
Yes.
Blue-collar guy.
Blue-collar guy. He better have a gut, and he can have a a little bit of muscle, but not too much.
Yeah. I like that muscle. But yeah,
He better spend more time in my ass than at the gym, honey. That's all I gotta say.
And Ron and I will sometimes have to message each other back and forth. Say, you want that one? Okay, you go for that one. I'll take this one. Yeah, split them down the middle. And then they want you to come visit them too. A lot of them will come here. They'll live here, but some of them are like, I'll send you a plane ticket and you can come to whatever. And that's a little iffy for me to take them up on, especially since I've got a whole job and family thing here.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that wants to do it.
Well, it does. It sounds intriguing. It's a life of
make a good story. Get Sally Field to play me in the movie.
Sally Field, yes.
Now where are you going?
I don't know. I'm gonna go.
We're going behind a building.
Sure.
Again, just like a magnet. Ooh, it's an alley. Ooh.
Look at this. Oh, hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey. Taking out the trash?
How would you like to pick up some trash?
Yes, exactly. There was this magazine back in the day, probably before your day too, called After Dark.
Uh-huh.
And After Dark, it was a theater magazine that came from New York, so they'd have all kinds of articles or reviews about performers on Broadway, performers in dance, performers in sometimes in films and the arts. But it was a gay magazine. It was way gay. And they'd always make sure that the men that they were doing feature pieces on were posed wearing very little clothing, usually in these kind of poses like that. And After Dark, since it focused mainly on New York, and it was like a Bible to us when we were younger. We'd get every issue. People don't read magazines now, but it was like anything. You had to really go out and get it. You didn't just like look at your phone and say, okay, what's this, what's that. You had to go out and get it. You brought it home. It was like a little ritual. You went through every page, memorized everything. Oh, I got to get that record. I got to see that movie. I want to know that name. It's
the good old days.
Good old days.
Sure. So I remember when I first came out, and I'm going to the dirty bookstore, and you could not find bear porn.
No, you could not find bear porn.
No, it was they were all muscular guys that had shaved their bodies, no body hair at all. And I was just like, what the fuck? I like really had to look and look and look. And then which is weird because I know they had it. I just don't think places were carrying as much. Because I remember when I was like, exploring my sexuality, like finally like, okay, this is me and I want to start exploring this. I was at Tower Records.
Yeah.
And I'm in the adult book section, and all you can see is the titles.
That's right.
And I see Bear, and I'm like, that's gonna be my magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what a bear was, but I knew what a bear was. And so I know that they had because Bear was putting out, you know, I know they were doing porn at that time, but I think they were just starting, and not a lot of places carried it. So.
Yeah, no, it was hard to find. I remember the first issue. There were a couple of different Bear magazines. I think the first one was just a little like
pocket, like hand job thing.
Yeah, and I remember getting that, and I remember meeting one of the original models for Bear meeting in San Francisco right before I was going to leave California, and we had a wonderful night together. It could have been a lot more wonderful if I hadn't gotten like lockjaw like 2 minutes into it. But you know, you do what you can do.
Yeah,
that's why God gave you 2 hands. So,
yes. So I had like literally just come out, and there were gay triplets at this bar, and wanted me to come back to their room.
Oh God!
And I was, you know, this is like still a time of AIDS, and I'm just like. Yeah, and I was just coming out. I was still uncomfortable, and yeah, but like, I've told a couple people, like, and they're like, and you said no?
I can't imagine. Twins has been one of my fantasy forever. One of the ones I've never had. Twins. I have so much. Triplets?
You could do a lot.
Shit. I would have just, no way would I have passed that up. No, were they ugly or what?
No.
God.
Well, they weren't bears, but despite the fact that I say I like, you know, I'm all about the bears, which I am. For me, a lot of it is about person and energy and whatnot. So it's not like I wouldn't have done it because they weren't bears, but yeah, like I said, I was just too scared. Too scared.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I think I had been like out for like maybe 2 months, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't experience what a lot of people your age did, where a lot of the people that you knew were just like gone. How did that impact you?
Oh, it's the defining moment of my life. I guess it's not a moment. To this day, it's just it still impacts everything. I had so my first partner, Amador, I was with for almost 10 years, just a little bit shy of 10 years. And he died of AIDS, and he was one of the first people I knew that had AIDS and that died of it. And I had always been afraid that I was going to have it because I was the one who constantly came home with the disease of the month club. It was like a straight line from the bathhouse to the doctor's office for me. So, a line that I traveled many, many times. And so I assumed it would be me when this thing started happening. And when it started happening, I'd never experienced anything like it. I finally had found this community. My whole life, I felt like this outsider, that I was this gay person, I was this queer, this sissy, this fag, whatever, and then you find this community and it's beautiful and it's glorious and you meet all these wonderful people, and it's not just the sex is really fun to talk about, but it was everything. It was the whole life. It was the culture, the clothes and the parties and the dance clubs and the homes and even the jobs and everything. It was all great, and then just like boom, it started to disappear in the freakiest way, because we didn't know what was going on. We just knew something was going on and it was bad, and we probably were spreading it, and so nobody knew what to do. And then it started to be this thing that straight people became very afraid of, right as we had made so much progress to like gay people are humans, we're okay, and they started just like abandoning. They wouldn't get near a lot of straight people wouldn't get near them. There were places that were burned down in Sacramento. There was a restaurant that was burned down because the chef was gay. There were people who stopped going to see their dentist because the dentist was gay. People were freaking out. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen. And then everybody I knew started dying. It was just like a domino thing. It was started off with here, here, and then I couldn't keep up. And that was the way it was for years. And I moved to Seattle during that time, assuming that I had it, because Amador had died. And I assumed that I had it, and was just thinking, well, I'm going to die soon. I'll just go live in the rest of my life. And I would get the papers from California, and every day I would see somebody that I know who had died. They might not have been close friends, but they were always people that I knew. And sometimes they were friends. And I couldn't remember who was alive and who wasn't. And I started meeting new people in Seattle, and I started new friendships, and then those people started to die. It was sort of like I went through this in these waves, just eliminating almost everybody in my circle. And it just left you feeling bizarre. And then it started to calm down, and I realized that I found out that I didn't have AIDS, and that I was in fact negative, which I don't even like saying that I'm negative, because I think that we should all just assume that we're positive. I think it would be a better world if everybody just assumed we're positive. And for a while I wouldn't even say that to anybody. But when I found out I was negative, I went through shock. And it sounds crazy now. I went through shock. I went through embarrassment. I withdrew from a lot of people. I wouldn't tell anybody. I told 3 people, I think. And I felt like a traitor, because all of my friends had died from this thing, and I was getting to live. And then I met Rodney, and I started this new life, and it was really good. And eventually I replaced most of the things in my life, but that sadness I'd never taken care of. And I think a lot of my weight that I put on was grieving. I say that tongue in cheek, but I think I gained like a pound for every person I lost. And because you can't grieve. People lose like 2 friends, and they're hysterical. But if you lose a friend a day, you can't grieve.
That's what I hear.
You have to get through your day.
That's what I heard. It was like you were. I heard you would have just finished a funeral, and you've got another one like that week.
And you'd walk down the street, and you'd see somebody, and your first thought is, oh my God, they're still alive. And you felt really great about it, but you couldn't remember who was alive anymore. The strangest thing. And that's what it was like. And then years later, you survive it, you have a new life. Everybody you have memories with is gone. So there's very few people that I have old memories with, which is something I do miss. There's a handful of people in my life. Most of them I wasn't all that close to, but because they're around, that I have some memories with. But you make new memories, and you meet new people, and it's good. But then you start hearing from younger people, and they say things that are like, wow, we did not do a very good job of telling this story, because you have it all wrong. You have everything wrong. And I remember some guy on Facebook like 6 months ago, and he said something about people dying from AIDS, and he wasn't that much younger than me, I didn't think. And I said, I can't believe you would say that. And he said, at this point, anybody who has AIDS is just asking for it. You know how to stop it, and so you got it on your own for your own fun. I thought, a gay man just said that? What? Are you crazy? Do we not learn anything here? We were liberated, sexually experimental, because there was no harm that we knew of, or at least not life and death harm. We were creating a new way of living, and it was a really beautiful way of living. And this thing happened, and disease doesn't come with morality attached. Disease is based on science, not on religion.
I was giving some young kids of today a ride up to the hill after one of my shows, and they were, what was it they were talking about? Someone said, I'm tired of having sex with condoms. I think I'm just going to go on PrEP. And I made the statement, well, you do know you can still get other things,
like syphilis.
Yeah, and he's like,
control.
They were like, you can. I was like, oh Lord, what are we teaching our youth today?
What are we teaching our youth today? I have slept with everybody in this world. Not everybody in this world, but a representation of everybody in the world.
It's like we're ambassadors.
We're ambassadors.
Cultural ambassadors.
Exactly.
I felt that way in Palm Springs this summer.
Did you?
So
It's like UNICEF or something, except for,
yes,
for the gays.
yes.
Oh, I definitely feel, and I try to do that too. It's like I don't think I've visited anybody from Turkey lately. Let's see what we can do there. Let's see.
Love me some turkey.
Oh my
Love me some Turkish man,
That
honey.
oil wrestling, that Turkish
Oil wrestling. Oh, where? What, now, see, why don't we have that sport here in America?
Why don't we have that sport here in America?
I do not get that.
Why do we not have that sport here?
Where
in
you got
America?
to try and get your hand down the guy's pants.
And it's all slippery and oily and greasy. We did it.
We did it.
We recorded the first. You got more than enough. You know?
Oh, I got more than enough, and it took a long time, honey.
That's good because
it's dark. We're coming back. It's dark.
Black. It's pitch black. It was like a sunny summer day.
We would have gotten back a little bit sooner, but the goddamn traffic in Seattle.
That's okay. I'm back in time to go write some material for tonight. Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.